Wakanda forever. I don't know why that tickles me all the time when I do that. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's the Pollinator, and it's Wednesday morning, December the 4th, 2024. The reason why I am announcing the date, I just want to, keep track of what I'm doing this month as we head into probably the most difficult period of time this country has faced in my lifetime. And I grew up, I was born into Jim Crow, and I was raised during the civil rights era, the civil rights movements. I saw all of our leaders get murdered, and that was a difficult time, but I was a child. I had no cognitive abilities to understand what was going on at the time. And so, I didn't have any, I really didn't have any opinions about it, but I watched my mother very closely. My father wasn't around most of the time. He was gone probably 8 to 9 months a year between spring training and the season, and whether or not the St. Louis Cardinals ended up in the playoffs or the World Series. So he was gone a lot, and my mother raised us. But I watched her reactions to everything that was going on, and could tell whether it was good news, bad news, what kind of news it was. It's not like we sat down and talked about it, because I was too young for those kinds of conversations. But today, definitely old enough to have all kinds of opinions and reactions and feelings and thoughts. You name it, I'm having it. I absolutely, it's just really hard for me to believe we ended up back here where I was in 2016. I knew instinctively that 45 was bad news. The orange orangutan is one of my pet names for him. Lately, I've taken to calling him the Orange Menace. And his minions are getting ready to fuck this country up. He's putting every kiss ass he can find in the in his administration. None of them are qualified. None of them are qualified to step into powerful positions in the government. And it's all a crapshoot. And then the Democrats are just being real freaking quiet. The Democratic politicians, I'll say, are being real quiet about what's getting ready to happen. And it's just the most eeriest feeling that they don't seem to have a doggone backbone. A lot of them have taken to throwing transgender people under the bus, blaming them for Kamala Harris losing the election, losing the election, when it was probably more of the fact that she was a black woman than have anything to do with trans people. We didn't ask to be pulled into this political fight. That happened because, true to fascist form, they are picking on the most vulnerable people and sticking them out front so they can do all their little handiwork behind what they're doing to us, and get everybody distracted over there while they're doing shit over here. It's the classic divide and conquer tactic that they have taken through the election, through the campaigning, through the election, and they are continuing to do it. So this video, I was watching mostly a bunch of transgender women talking about what happened to Sarah McBride and those idiots, Johnson and Mace, taking off after her, bringing up the bathroom issue again. You know, I went through the bathroom issue when I was a kid, and it started out against black people. They were afraid for us to use the bathroom. They were afraid for us to use water fountains. They were afraid for us to use any kind of public space that had white people in it. That's what they did to us. And then they took that same bullshit that was going on as I was growing up and slung it at gay people and lesbians during the 1980s, during the AIDS epidemic, and now they're throwing it at trans people, this bathroom thing. Everybody has to use the freaking bathroom. So here's the idea that I have, because a lot of these women they're freaking out. Because we know that what they're afraid of are transgender women who have not had bottom surgery. So they still have their penis. And they don't even register trans men in this whole conversation. Not with sports either. You know, they must have some kind of idea that, this issue is about man versus woman. They're getting ready I forgot to write it down, but there's a bill, I think it's 9218, that's being submitted to Congress to define what is a man and what is a woman based on biology, based on your ability to reproduce, whether you produce sperm or you produce eggs. Well, I'm not producing anything anymore. I've had full total hysterectomy, and because of some problems that I was having, and so I don't produce that. And look, this is the most retarded thing these GOP have come up with in a long time. I absolutely hate that I'm as bad as Jim Crow was. It's coming back, but it's spreading out over a larger audience. You know, transgender, and before you know it, we're gonna see whites only bathrooms. Oh, they're gonna start with what, cisgender only bathrooms? I don't even know what they're gonna fucking call it. But so I had this idea. I ran it across a few people, and I'm gonna start here and then try to get some other people, some other trans men involved. But after what happened to Sarah McBride being forced to use the men's room in Washington D.C. in the court in the White House, I thought, or maybe somebody else said it, but anyway, it's going to take somebody with balls to pick it up and run with it. And that person is me. And at first, I did not want to be the one to lead this sort of thing. But if not me, who? Nobody else is really talking about it. Oh, I have seen some posts on social media about it. And what it was I'm looking for the hairiest, manliest, most courageous trans men in the United States. Or maybe you're here from somewhere else. But I'm looking for those kinds of men to go to Washington, D.C. and line up in front of the ladies' room and then ask them, do they want people that look like them to be going to the ladies' room? It's going to cause all sorts of problems because, excuse me, they're worried about trans women while they're ignoring us. And, let us show the hell up at the White House and line up for the women's room. And I thought, gee, how big should this be? Because it's going to take me talking to hundreds of trans men in order to just get maybe 100 to go up there, or maybe even 50. You know, people are flaky when it comes to things like this, and it's going to it's going to cause visibility, because we do need some press there to cover this. And we don't want to say when. We'll do that offline, because we don't want them to see us coming. We don't want them to stop us at the door. We don't want, if we're standing in line, if we're standing however you get into the White House. I heard there is a line and one way to get in for visitors. But we need to go up there together and do this sort of thing to show them how ridiculous their bathroom bullshit is. Their bathroom bans, trying to force us to go to the bathrooms of the gender that was on our birth certificates. That's what they're trying to do. But it's gonna cause all sorts of fucking problems and make it unsafe for us. Mostly for transgender women, because they will be forced to go to the men's room, and they see a lady in the men's room, or multiple ladies in the men's room, and especially in the White House, they're gonna know that those ladies are trans, and they may start violence. But us going to the ladies' room, I mean, what are the ladies going to do except call the cops? But the cops will already be in the building, right? So it's going to take some organization. It's going to take some very bright people to put this together, and agree to meet in Washington, D.C. in a certain location. Well, the front door. But to map out which bathroom we're going to show up in. With the media, with some kind of media with us, to show the reaction of cisgender women going to the ladies' room and seeing us standing out there, hairy trans men, manly looking trans men, see us out there trying to get in the women's room. They're going to be confused. They're going to be alarmed. They're going to be freaking out. But we're not breaking any laws, are we? They want to make it so that, that becomes some kind of law, and even a federal law. It's going to cause mayhem. But we can do this to prove a point. No sooner than they went after Sarah McBride, and she complied. She's not, I've heard that she's very low-key and kind of a mealy mouth. She wasn't going to fight back, because she's only one up there in D.C. But no sooner than she going to be compliant with this Nancy Mace, who needs to fucking get laid or something. Look, there's just way too much vitriol going on with that woman. But anyway, she's going along with what they're trying to force her to do. But no sooner did they did that, they turned around and now they're questioning a woman by the name of Zoe Zephyr out of Montana, and questioning whether she can go to the ladies' room. Many of the women that were in that group that I was in, where people were freaking out about this, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so many of those ladies were very, very, very upset, angry, panicked, anxious, all sorts of things, because they're punching down, and the media isn't covering us at all. The media is not talking to transgender people. They don't want the narrative that these GOP are spinning to be marred by the fucking truth about who we are. They want to leave that crap that went on during the campaign, during the elections. They want to leave people with that. You see, that idea of who we are. All the bullshit that Trump said, and and J.D. Vance, Shady Vance, I call him. They want to leave everybody with that is who we are because they're controlling the narrative. The corporate media is owned by GOP type CEOs. And it's turned into one great big propaganda machine where they're only telling people what they want them to know. And the people that they're doing this with are ignorant. They don't research anything. They see this running on TV 24/7. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to believe that crap because they don't know who we are. So the media is conveniently not talking to trans people so that they don't know who we are. They don't know that we're not a threat to society. They don't know any of that stuff. They're making, they took something this big and blew it up to be this huge issue that's not an issue. See, freaking evangelists, extremists, Christian types, well, they call themselves Christians, but really they're white nationalists, they're white supremacists. That's who they are. And that is who 47 has given the country to. After he dices and splices everything with his stupid administration, he's going to hand the country over to these people. They were in his administration the first time. And we let a felon who's going to pardon all his shit, by the way. Nobody's going to be able to go after him while he's the president. He really wants to be a king. He really wants to get rid of the Constitution. He really wants to get rid of democracy. And if any of those come to pass, we're going to be in deep shit in this country. I'm going to drop a link down up over here of what AOC said about the Sarah McBride hysteria. And maybe some other links to other videos throughout this one, talking about this unhealthy, disrespectful, lying load of crap that the GOP is selling the American people about us. They did the same thing about gays and lesbians because of AIDS. Did the same thing, and then they did the same thing about black people for how long? At least 150, 200 years. And we had to put up with that shit. Our ancestors did. Everything that they were whispering to each other and putting in the newspaper and painting broad stroke pictures of who we are was being sold to the American people. And because of that, it kept slavery going and going and going and going. They made us out to be inhuman. They made us out to be 3/4 of a human. It's making me so irritated. Sickening. It's disgusting what is going on and how easy it is to manipulate people in this country. You know, we've got a country full of broken people. They're so broken. There's nothing up here. They're going off of what he said, she said over there somewhere, and they're not looking for the truth themselves. They're just, and then they're trolling all over everything that's out there right now. Totally convinced of what they saw, the propaganda that they were fed, that they're acting like it was steak when it wasn't. So, it's crackers, not steak. But anyway, so what do you say, man? Are you man or you mouse? Now, yes, it's going to cost you to be known, at least your face anyway. But, you know, I'm looking for courageous guys. I'm looking for guys who aren't afraid. May be tough to find. In fact, I venture to say it will be real tough to find, because a lot of the men that look like that I've seen are running stealth, meaning nobody knows they're trans. maybe a few close people, maybe. But they're just moving around the country and the world as just men. And nobody knows they're trans. But wouldn't it be funny? I think it would be hilarious for a bunch of us to show up there, beards and all, hairy as all get out, tattoos, muscles, everything, and show up there in Washington, at the ladies' room, just to drive a point. Whether it happens, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. And then I'm going to contact some people and forward this video to them and see if they want to do anything with this. Because I think it's a great idea. It's something along the lines of what I said either a year ago or 2 years ago about the LGBTQ march on Washington. And, nobody, a lot of people saw that video, but nobody said anything and nobody wanted to do anything. It's like everybody's scared. If you live your life in fear and you don't ever take any risks, your life will be mediocre. Yeah, I said it. Your life will be mediocre without risks. You will never be successful, and I doubt you'll even be happy. Because the only risk you're willing to take is living under the radar, beneath the radar. And that's not who I am. Yes, I am an activist, and without an army. And just this once, wouldn't it be nice to have a little army, and then we can go out to dinner afterwards. Just pick a restaurant and overrun the restaurant. If there's 100 trans men, yeah, this is going to fill up a restaurant. So go to dinner, go back to our hotels, fly back home. So yeah, this is about a little demonstration at the White House in Washington, D.C. Now, people are going to have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we need to organize offline, not on social media, because there is no privacy on social media. But we can work out those details when I get some other guys that want to help organize this. How we're going to do it, where we're going to meet up with men that could be coming from all over the country. So that's what I got on here to say. And God willing, before they take our HRT away, guys, ladies and gentlemen, forgot to say this. There were some non-binary, transmasculine people in there that are not on HRT, and this isn't meant to exclude them, but they don't look like hairy, manly men. And one of them, who goes by the pronouns he, said, "Well, we want to be in on it." And yeah, well, we don't want a bunch of studs, lesbian studs, or people who look like women to be in that group. I can't grow a full beard, so it's going to have to be guys that can grow a full beard, and like I said, muscular. Maybe they don't have to be muscular, but they definitely got to look like men. And let's do the damn thing and have fun doing it. So everybody have a blessed Wednesday, and the pollinator is out.